If you have not played the Danganronpa games, get off of this video. It's going to be full of spoilers for the entire series, if the thumbnail didn't already make that obvious. Alright, no dancing around the point. I think Nekomaru died when he was shot by that bazooka. Saying it out loud kinda makes sense, but it's not as simple as, well, he's dead, end of theory. It's actually pretty complicated. From the reason there's a statue of Sakura in the funhouse, to why the Chapter 3 motive had 3 victims, to even the kinds of victims there have been in each game, this theory's pretty nuts, but it might just be true. Let me know what you think, but before any of that, let's actually explain this thing. The first thing that made me suspicious of Mechamaru was actually a weird interaction between Monomi and Monokuma at the beginning of the third trial. Nekomaru is absent because of the whole bazooka thing, and it's questioned what to do about his alibi. This is what follows.
Connie and Nagito were laid up in the hospital. The only person that... There's another person who doesn't have an alibi. You know, Nekomaru. Me too!
Hey, why are you talking like, huh? You're kidding, right? You're not up to something weird, are you?
Please stop making that joke.
Monomi is actually what makes me really suspect that something serious is going on here. The only time she acts like that is when someone dies. It makes you wonder why she has such a strong reaction to Monokuma just doing an impersonation. I think this theory is the only real explanation for that, because there is nothing in-game that explains why she has such a crazy reaction to what should just be a simple impersonation. Adding on to that, the motive for the trial where this happens, Trial 3, is a spoof on the Wizard of Oz, where there are 3 victims. The first 2 are clearly referring to Hiyoko,
so he pumped her full of arrows,
and Ibuki,
when he recommended that she commit suicide. The Monomis.
But the third is a metal Monomi, or in the actual Wizard of Oz, the Tin Man, and their death is almost identical to how we find the body of Nekomaru in the next chapter. Both of these in the same trial where Nekomaru is absent is suspicious, but there's more. Before I continue, we all have an understanding that the trials from each game, including V3, are always similar, right? The fact that Chapter 3 always has 2 victims, so on and so forth. Going off of that, in Danganronpa 1's Trial 4, Sakura commits self-leave game, and the one who gets punished ends up being Alter Ego. So, a human victim and an AI sacrifice. In Danganronpa 2's Trial 4, Mechamaru dies and Gundam is the killer, so the exact opposite. An AI victim and a human sacrifice. It's even deeper than that, though. The reason Sakura self-leaves game in Danganronpa 1 is to protect the group. She's forced to kill someone, so she chooses herself to protect everyone else. In Danganronpa 2, it's very heavily implied at the end of the trial that Gundam and Nekomaru fought so that the rest of the group could get out of the funhouse.
Regardless, as I've already said, I do not intend to force my values upon you fools. I have betrayed you all. That is the absolute truth.
Fall, my tears.
But even so, don't you think it's a better alternative to slowly starving to death here?
Oh, that belief is why you committed your crime?
If you don't remember, there was no food, so they were on a strict time limit. If someone didn't kill someone else within a certain amount of time, everyone was just going to starve to death. Going even further, in V3, an AI version of Gonta kills Miu because he views it as a mercy killing instead of letting her learn that the outside world is totally ruined. In all 3 of these cases, an AI is involved, the killing is done for the sake of the group, at least in the mind of the killer, and the AI is always dead by the end. The only thing that makes me hesitate with this part is the amount of deaths, because it's different between games. Danganronpa 1 and 2, it's 1 human and 1 AI, according to my theory, and V3, it's 2 humans and 1 AI. Moving past the crazy semantics of amounts of deaths, how about the fact that we learned that Junko's whole plan in Danganronpa 2 is to take over the bodies of anyone who died? She even says that she can convincingly act as anyone from the group because she has their data.
It's too damn soon to say you got bored, right?
Wait, what?
I have plenty of data on you guys, so it's so so easy for me to know what you're all thinking.
Then everyone who died isn't gonna come back to life.
They're gonna be taken over by Junko?
What the fuck? Like the real world. Once an avatar is deleted from this virtual world, it can't be recovered. It's actually impossible to revive them.
That doesn't mean I was lying, you know? I just didn't make some things clear. And even if they're overwritten by my alter ego, it doesn't mean they'll be a completely different person. The data of everyone who died is stored within me, so I'm sure I can convincingly act out their personalities.
Don't mess with me.
In fact, I have a lot of data on Fuyuhiko, so I know some things that'll make you happy. I could play a version of Peko that's more to your liking than she ever was.
I said, don't fucking mess with me!
So, if Nekomaru had died in Chapter 3, she would have had no problem impersonating him, and that would explain why Monokuma does in the trial for that chapter, to warm up for when he shows back up at the end of the trial.
What happened? Were y'all looking for me?
Could it be?
This is nothing! The name's Nekomaru Nidai! I've been reborn in the rivers of hell!
That would also explain why Monomi has such a strong reaction, because she might have realized that this is the case. We have to remember that she was/is a member of the Future Foundation, so she should have more information on the students and Junko than most. Meaning that she could have an idea that Junko has the ability to do something like completely impersonate somebody, and no one would be the wiser, because she's just that fucking smart. Those are the big reasons why I think Mechamaru is Junko, but there's a couple more tiny things that made me think that this was intentional. The fact that there's a statue of Sakura in the funhouse in Danganronpa 2 at all is really weird. The only explanation I can think of is for the player to draw parallels between Danganronpa 1's Chapter 4 and Danganronpa 2's. For an explanation in-universe for why Monokuma/Junko did it, this is really headcanon-y, but Junko probably put that there and entitled it Ogre as both a sign of respect and spite. I don't think the self-leave game was something Junko expected, so it annoyed her, which could also be an explanation for why she altered the footnote in that game as well, other than just to make the trial more interesting. It was to spite her because she did something she didn't expect. But it is also exactly what she yearns for, stuff she can't predict.
No answer. So you've chosen to make no choice at all. Jeez, once again, this went exactly as I expected. I get so hopelessly bored when everything goes according to plan. Oh well.
I use this clip because Junko is always seeking an escape from boredom. Therefore, things going according to plan being boring means she wants things to go wrong. To escape such boredom, and of course to taste despair. Of course. Despair, you know? Never heard of it, have you?
Despair. 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 Such despair. Such despair. If you're not willing to fill me with despair, there's no way my hope will ever
So she creates a situation in Danganronpa 2 that could very likely push someone to leave game for the group, and then puts the statue of the first person she ever pushed to that point right in the middle of the place where she's trying to push other people to do the exact same thing. It's just cruel enough that I think that might be the intention. Might be way off, but hey, I think it's a decent mini-theory. Let me know what you think. There's also the fact that Nagito makes a point out of bringing up Danganronpa 1's Trial 4, and the fact that it was a self-leave game, which only makes sense to say if you think that Gundam and Mechamaru sacrificed themselves, or that Nagito is just messing with Hajime, which would also make sense since he has already learned at this point that everyone is ultimate despair, and Hajime is the mastermind of these ultimate despair, so he hates it. This last one's kinda harebrained, but I think that Mechamaru just acts differently than Nekomaru, and the big thing that made me think that is when he starts sarcastically joking about Hajime being the traitor right at the beginning of the funhouse.
It's not like a playing battle would change anything. We're just a traitor and a robot after all. I'm not the traitor.
Because that doesn't seem like something that Nekomaru would normally do. Like in chapter 2, he ties up Nagito with Kazuichi because he's so worried about the traitor.
But I wonder if it's really true that there's a traitor among us.
No!
No need to worry. You don't have to worry about the traitor at all.
However, if by chance the worst case scenario...
Impossible!
Even in the worst case scenario, you don't have to worry about the traitor.
That's weird.
What do you mean? You're being awfully certain about it.
Of course, in fact, this local traitor's tied up at the moment that can't move at all.
I knew it.
Huh?
He has such a horrible time lying about it. He stutters and stuff like an elementary school kid caught in a lie.
It cannot be.
Tied up, you say? Could you be referring to Nagito, whom we have not seen since yesterday?
Who else could it be? Nagito's the traitor! Well, what about that other part? You said he was tied up and can't move?
Oh, crap!
But Mechamaru jokes about it and doesn't really seem to care about the traitor. It's like totally different responses to the situation we've seen before and now. Like, he doesn't seem to care now when before it was like the most important thing on his mind. I don't know. He might have just changed and realized, oh yeah, it doesn't really matter who the traitor is right now. Or he could be Junko and she doesn't care who the traitor is because she knows it's Chiaki and the traitor is actually their friend, you know? You never know. Yeah, you know. Anyway, that's my theory. I didn't see anyone else make videos about this. Maybe somewhere else on the internet it's been talked about, but I haven't seen it anywhere. Maybe that means I'm totally off base, but I thought it was a pretty interesting thing to talk about. So, yeah. Just let me know what you think. And, if you're hearing this right now, comment Chiaki ain't the traitor. And, I'll know you're a real one. Because anyone who played the games know that's wrong, but hey, it's just between you and me, you know. Anyway, thanks again for watching. Hope you have a great day, had a great day, or whatever. See ya.